going to be plate balance. I've got my maintain plate and my lose plate. And I'm using you guys to stay distracted because my meal today is just broth and liquids and coconut water because I have my routine colonoscopy tomorrow. So I'm living vicariously through you guys that are posting soy chia yogurt pictures on our post. And I'm gonna make my husband's lunch, and even though it defeats the purpose of smelling it and it's delicious because I just air baked some potatoes. So I want to show you guys how I'm going to make his plate. He has a plate to lose that is different than mine. And this is why I'm telling you guys the plate balance is key. You have to play with your own plate balance to figure out your plate balance to lose weight on whole foods plant-based and have a nutritious plate filled with vitamins and minerals and all the nutrition that you need, not just to lose weight, but to stay satiated. That is key. You should be eating either 6 smaller meals a day or 6 meals a day or 3 meals a day, whatever your preference is, but you shouldn't ever get to hungry. You should never get to hangry, and you should always feel satiation. Of course, I'm not satiated right now because I'm having the colonoscopy tomorrow and I'm like starving. So, cause I'm used to being satiated all the time. I can tell you that I'm never hungry on a whole foods plant-based diet. If you're doing it right, you will never be hungry. You will always be satiated. Your blood work will always come out correctly because you will be feeding you the proper nutrition, vitamins and minerals in your body. So blood work is also key because you want to make sure that you never miss your B12, that you don't miss, and that you're having enough protein and iron and all of the things that your body needs to stay balanced. So my husband's is going to be different than mine. For me to lose weight, I have to do a plate like this. For him to lose weight, he does a plate like this. This is my maintain plate. This, if I fed him my maintain plate, he loses weight. He still wants to lose a little bit more because he's trying to get to his ideal weight that he feels comfortable with. And I'm already maintaining, so this was my lose weight plate, and this is my maintain plate. So I am normally eating this now. Having said that, if I ever do gain a little bit of weight, or we go on vacation, or I enjoyed the holidays a little too much, even with our whole food plant-based lifestyle, you can gain weight, as a lot of you know. So I will revert back to my loose plate. And I do this for as long as I need to take off a pound or 2 or however I need to take. I don't stress about doing this plate if I've only gained 2 or 3 pounds, because once I get back to eating normal, even on my maintain plate, my body tends to go back to normal because you are used to satiating yourself. So it kind of clicks into where it needs to be weight-wise. So if I've only gained 2, maybe 3 pounds, I don't stress about going to my loose plate. If I've gained 5 pounds, then yes, I'm gonna go to my loose plate for as long as I need to get to that weight that I want to be at. So for him, for lunch, I'm going to be making him some hummus, and I had some discussions with some of you guys through the chat today that were asking me questions on how to make unsalted food, because the key is for you guys to cook your meals unsalted. Do not salt it. You use herbs and spices and seasonings, overuse them, but do not use sodium. And in the beginning, it's going to taste very bland to you, but finish it. Finish it with things like California balsamic vinegar or a bunch of spices. So for him, I'm going to put this spinach and herb seasoning on top of this hummus. It doesn't have any sodium whatsoever, so I can be liberal about it. We got this one at the farmer's market. Anytime I see spices, I'm going to check the sodium, and if I find any that have no sodium, I've now become like a boutique of spices and herbs. I just have everything and anything. Smoked paprika gives it a smokiness to the hummus, which I love. Not everybody loves, but we love. So I'm putting that on there. And then I'm putting some, this is almost like a cayenne. It's a ground up pepper that is spicy. It's called an Aleppo pepper, so I'm putting that on. And sumac. Sumac gives things a little bit of an acidy, lemony flavor. So all of this is going to go on there, and he is going to have a lot of flavor on his hummus. So the other thing that I'm going to put on here that he's going to spread on his potatoes. I air fried some potatoes, and this is where the plate balance comes. So since he's wanting to lose a little bit of weight, I'm going to put half. So as you see here, I'll show you in a second. His losing plate is my maintain plate. So his losing plate, I'm going to do half of the plate with potatoes, and so I'm going to do half of the plate. You have to remember, this is my maintain plate is his lose weight plate. So 1/4 is going to be the hummus, and 1/4 is going to be the potatoes. This entire section is going to be non-starchy. It's going to be all the non-starchy vegetables that you want in whatever quantity. If you need more volume and quantity to satiate you, do it. So what we do is I'm not even going to put it on his plate because it won't fit. So I'm going to give him what we call a head salad. We have these giant Tupperwares or bowls, mixing bowls, that you serve salad to when somebody comes to your house or you're serving dinner. Normally this would be shared between 4 people, and you would put some on your plate. We eat this whole thing. So this is going to be for him. So since he's trying to lose weight, he's going to keep these smaller, and he's going to have a lot of non-starchy vegetables. So in here I have arugula, I have kale, I have different types of cabbages, I have tomato, and I have mushroom, and I've mixed it with a California balsamic vinegar, which is very easy because you don't even need to make a dressing. You just toss it in it, and that's it, and they're that delicious. And the high quality vinegars are not acid. That you can use them as a dressing straight up. They're not acid. They're almost like drinking a reduced syrup, like a maple syrup, but it's a balsamic vinegar from whatever fruit. The one that I chose that he chose was grapefruit, and I also mixed it a little bit with the lemon balsamic. So the lemon balsamic and the grapefruit in his salad. So normally it would go here. So if you were having asparagus and green beans and tomatoes, you fill this whole entire plate with your non-starchy vegetables. Or you do like I'm giving to him today, and you give him the whole bowl, and you just imagine that it's going on the bottom. It's not going to hurt to eat more of the non-starchy vegetables. They're just going to help you keep satiated. They're going to add nutrition, minerals, and everything. The more you have in here, I don't have that many in here today, but we've actually gotten up to 22 in a bowl. So the more color that you add to the bowl, the more multi that you have in there, multivitamins, minerals, nutrition, and it helps satiate you. So honey, do you want your lunch? And I'm gonna show you guys something because this is his hilarious look from when he's working from home, but I wanted to show you guys, this guy has lost 82 pounds. He has gone down 10 pant sizes, and he still has some of his business clothes because we're slowly revamping our closet and cleaning our closets, and we have slowly, well, not slowly, I think we've been pretty cutthroat about cleaning out our closets and getting out the clothes that don't fit us anymore, but he hasn't gotten around to his business clothes because he works remote from home, so he doesn't have to, but he uses his big shirts and then he clips them in the back so he can be on camera. And of course he's got the sweatpants on the bottom, the comfort on the bottom, and then the business on the top. So let me see if he's ready for his lunch so that he can come over here and get it, and so that I can discuss the plates for you as well. Honey, come and get your lunch, and then I can do the rest of the plates for you guys, because it's also important to watch the saturated fat on this balanced plate. So I need to show them. So look, this guy has lost 82 pounds. I don't even know if you're on camera. And so he clips it, but this is how much his clothes, he's gone down, sorry, I'm pulling you. He's gone down from a double XL to a small shirt. And his pant sizes are 10 pant sizes. I think pant sizes go in twos. He's gone down from a 42, almost 44, to a 32. So yes, this lifestyle cannot just change your weight, but it can also change your health, your chronic diseases, as you guys know. Go read our story if you haven't done so. It's in the helpful links. So you get a head salad today, and you get hummus and potatoes that you can spread.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Chef.
All right. So, so when you're maintaining and when you're losing, and I'll look on camera a second. I have to come around the camera to see if you guys have any questions. Maybe my husband can see if you guys have any questions, and to make sure I pressed the right button and that I am on camera. But the other thing that you need to consider is the saturated fats. So when you're building this plate, always there's a couple of key elements. You have to have beans and legumes on one portion of the plate. And some members have asked, well, how much beans and legumes? Forget my blue sticky tape. When it comes to the beans and legumes, you need to have your full serving. So if you have a can of beans and you're having lentils, this is black lentils. If you're having a can of beans, this, for example, says half a cup is a serving. So you need to make sure that at minimum, you have a half a cup on this plate, even on the maintain plate, even on the lose weight plate, you need to have a whole serving. Why? Because when it comes to beans and legumes, that is a whole food plant-based eater's protein. And we want to make sure that you have enough iron and that you have enough protein in your body, and that you are not just eating fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables all have protein. They all are going to have iron, but you need to make sure and have the most concentrated protein and iron in your food through beans and legumes. They're the ones that normally mostly have it. So pick ones that are high in that. Make sure that one portion, so this is going to be at least half a cup. I eat around 2/3 to 3/4 of a cup of beans, and I don't look anymore at the label to see how much a dried bean serving is once it's cooked, or a canned serving is. I just go ahead and do 2/3 to 3/4 of a cup of beans on every single one of my plates that I'm eating. So for breakfast, you guys are going to be like, how am I supposed to have beans for breakfast? Well, I choose to have my beans for breakfast in the form of soy chia yogurt. So if you make my soy yogurt, it's filled with soybeans. It's just soybeans. So the yogurt is made from soybeans, and you don't see green, you don't see soybeans because it's made from the soy milk. So you're going to be getting basically your beans and legumes at breakfast that way. Oats, believe it or not, have a ton of protein and what you need. So my husband doesn't have the soy yogurt for breakfast, but he has oats. And a lot of diabetics that come onto our page don't think that they can eat the carbs. Yes, you can. You have to eliminate the simple carbs, and you have to only eat complex carbs. If you eliminate the simple carbs, then you can eat all the carbs that you want in a balanced plate. So my husband has a huge bowl of oatmeal every single morning, and that is all he has, but it's made with soy milk, and he puts granola on top, and he puts berries on top. So in his prior world, not being plant-based, he would have eaten this, and it would have spiked his sugar. Why? Because the rest of his lifestyle had simple carbs in it. So his body was very confused. it was like, wow, you fed me something good, but then next meal or on top of it, there was, you know, bad sugars and things. And so his body was spiking his blood sugar all the time. Doesn't happen anymore. It stays stable. So, and he's off medications. So on this plate, you're gonna have your beans and legumes, then next your starches, and the starches can be grains, it can be grains like rices and quinoa and pasta that are made from red lentils and chickpeas, not white pastas, not white rices. You want black rices and red rice and brown rice. You want the red lentil pasta, like I said, the chickpea pasta, the whole wheat pasta, the whole grains. So whole grains are gonna go here. Also potato, like I just did his plate. Potatoes, sweet potato, any starchy vegetables you're gonna put here. And then here, you're gonna fill it with the non-starchies. So you can Google. I've also put lists on our page of what starchy vegetable examples are, what non-starchy vegetables examples are. But if you Google whole food, always try to put, when you Google anything regarding this lifestyle, try to put whole food plant-based before it, so that the better things come up. So for the maintain plate, same thing. You're going to use beans here and legumes. You're going to do starchy here, which is going to be not just vegetables, but also pastas and rices and such. So in that portion. And then here, you're gonna do the non-starchy. So, and don't concentrate so much on measuring. This is not Weight Watchers. This is not counting calories. This is not tracking. If you take your home dinner plate, as long as it's not this ginormous one, you should be able to divide it in this way and take a serving spoon and fill your beans and legumes and make sure on those that you do have 2/3 or 3/4 of a cup. Here, just use your eyeballs to take your measuring spoon and put your starchy here and keep it at that. Don't try to have it overflow and make a mountain and then try and tell me that that's the quarter. No. Just a regular serving spoon here, and then overfill this. You can fill this with as much non-starchies as you want. You can even have a separate bowl like I gave for him for lunch. So the other thing that you have to pay attention on your plate is the saturated fats. So daily, I look at the saturated fats that I cook with and that I put on our plate. So things like, I'm going to show you, things like plant-based that have a lot of saturated fat that I actually pay attention to. The rest I don't really pay attention to because they're so good for you that I just cook with it and don't mentally measure it. This I mentally measure, and I'm gonna show you. Avocados, very good for you. Lots of wonderful stuff, but it's got a lot of saturated fat. So do we use it every day? Do we have an avocado toast every day? No. This is something that in our household we're going to have maybe once a week. We figured out that if we have more than that, if we have more than once or twice a week of avocados, plus we also consider all of this together. So avocados, I'm going to go through them. Avocados, nuts, nut butters, like peanut butter, almond butter, pumpkin butter, olives, in any kind, they have a lot of saturated fat, and coconut, and that includes coconut milk. So all of these right here, the 5, have a lot of saturated fat. Coconut, avocados, nuts, nut butters, and olives. So these right here, I have a mental note of what I use daily and what I use weekly. So I have kind of figured out that as long as we don't go overboard and have these every single day together, and we, for example, don't use this every day, maybe once or twice a week, that's what works for us. The nuts, we use nuts, but we don't necessarily eat them by the handfuls. We measure them. We make sure we don't exceed the serving, and it's not every day, but it might be in recipes or muffins or in a salad, but not as a snack we go for other things to snack on that aren't so saturated fat laden. A lot of people, when they ask me, well, I'm not losing weight, and I start asking, even with my plate, the lose weight and the maintain plate. And remember, hubby loses my maintain plate. He uses this to lose. I use it to maintain. I use this to lose. If he had this, he would lose faster. And it's not, I don't necessarily want him to do this because we don't want faster, and we want something that is attainable, and he would have to eat very large quantities of this to stay satiated and satisfied. So we also have to be mindful of that. So when people ask me like, well, I'm not losing weight, and I start asking them, what are you eating? What does your day look like? That's what my sister did for me. She dissected not just what I was eating daily, but how I was cooking, what I was using to cook. Was I using too many nuts? Was I using too much nut butter? Was I using too much avocado? In the beginning, I was using all of these because they were plant-based. So I was like, oh yeah, we can eat all of them. We can use all of them. We can use these in all the recipes. And then his blood sugar started spiking, and I wasn't losing weight, and he wasn't losing weight, and we weren't even focusing on losing weight. But when we figured out that his blood sugar spikes were happening, that also, the saturated fats, if you guys are diabetic and trying to reverse diabetes, it will spike your blood sugar. So saturated fat is something that a lot of diabetics are not aware of yet, that it is not the carbs, it is not the sugar. It is the saturated fats in plant-based form and in animal form that prevent your body from processing and processing the insulin so that your body can maintain the blood glucose level.
Saturated fat causes insulin resistance.
Correct.
Which increases the concentration of glucose in your bloodstream because the saturated fat prevents the cells from utilizing the glucose, which is the fuel that it needs to function.
And he knows this because he has read a lot about this. He's read Dr. Esselstyn's book, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. I recommend that if you are a diabetic and you're trying to reverse diabetes, that you read it. It explains it really well. My simple explanation, take out animal, they have saturated fat, and all the animal proteins have a lot of saturated fat, which we know because we've been the guinea pigs of my sister, and we've been guinea pigs for ourselves, and he's my guinea pig because I ensure that what I'm cooking doesn't spike his blood sugars. And we know, and we have proven to ourselves, that animal spikes his diabetes, his blood sugar spikes happen that way.
Dairy too.
Dairy as well, because dairy is an animal byproduct. It has a lot of saturated fat, even vegan cheeses, vegan butters, any processed vegan things. That's why I say we are not vegan, we're whole food plant-based. Vegan products, don't sit there and be all excited that you are plant-based and now you're gonna go buy all these vegan processed products. That's the other thing that people tell me, I'm not losing, and then I start asking and they're eating vegan butters and cheeses and things, olive oils and oils. So you have to remove the oil saturated fat. You have to remove the oils. You have to remove the vegan processed products that are replacements for standard American butters and cheeses and things like that. And you have to even be mindful. You don't have to remove these plant-based ones, but you have to be mindful of them. So we found our mindful balance with these. That makes us comfortable. We do love avocados. We love a guacamole every once in a while. We love a avocado in our sandwich. So we do use those, but I'm not going to use it every day. Butters, nut butters, I use them for cooking because they're essential as a recipe substitute for oils. So they're essential for making muffins and cakes and waffles and things like that. So yes, I do use them, but since they're spread out in a recipe that makes a ton of servings, it's not a problem. I'm not gonna sit there and butter my bread with a nut butter every day. So if you're doing that, that could be one of the reasons why you're not losing weight. Olives, the same thing. If you're eating olives and nuts by the handfuls every day as a snack, or if you're eating a trail mix that has a ton of nuts in them, you are inhibiting your body not just from the insulin producing insulin resistance, but you're also inhibiting your body from losing. So, and the same thing with coconut and coconut milk. Those of you that love coconut milk, take soy milk, put coconut extract in it, a good extract that doesn't have added things in it, a real extract, and make your own coconut milk, because the soy milk is going to be filled with protein. You're going to put the coconut extract in it. No one's going to know the difference. The key is to just use enough extract to where it tastes like coconut milk and doesn't overdo it. But if you use too little of the extract, it doesn't taste like coconut milk. So do that. That's what we do. I'll make curries and all of this. I turned my BFF, my best friend, onto not just soy milk, but I challenged her to make it with the extract because they were so resistant. And she kept using the coconut milk, and the coconut milk is filled with saturated fat. So even the light coconut milk. Let me see if you guys have any questions. And I think I've covered everything when it comes to the plate. So let me know if you guys do have questions. If not, when you watch this video, even though it's not live, you can always drop questions at the bottom in the comments. I'll look at them. Or you can go to the top and you can go to the chat and you can ask me questions there, because I check. And I have conversations through there. I just did this morning about how to make things flavorful without salt. And I also had a conversation about the balsamic vinegars, which we love in this house and we use for everything. And I almost wish that they didn't have the word vinegar, because a lot of people run to the store like I did in the beginning, and I heard use vinegars as your dressing, use vinegars to finish your food, use vinegars. And I ran to the grocery store and I bought different flavors of balsamic vinegar. I bought rosé and white, and you know, I had found peach, and I had found all these balsamic vinegars at the grocery store. That is not what I'm talking about. Do not do that. It will be wasted money. I wasted my money and now I just want to give them away. I don't even use them. They're good for making a dressing. This is so good that a couple of drops does it. So I'll give you an example. I use my California coconut one. California Balsamic is the brand. You can Google it. They have a website. They have different sizes. This is a 4 ounce. They have a 1 ounce. And I don't sell anything. So anything that I talk about is because I love it. I don't sell. I don't get commission. I don't endorse anybody. So if it comes out of my mouth, it's my personal endorsement that I love them. So this California Balsamic, I have them in every flavor. I have tons of bottles of them, different flavors. And I use the coconut one for my morning breakfast. And you would say, but vinegar for morning breakfast? Yes, they're that good, because they're sweeter. They concentrate the fruit. You have to make sure that when you buy one, that it doesn't have added sugars or added oils or added salts. The real ones will just take the fruit, they will vinegar them first, then they cook and reduce it to where that fruit becomes like a syrupy, almost like a maple syrup reduction. So that's how good they are. You don't need to mix them into a dressing because they are absolutely delicious as is. I use them on dessert, I use them on breakfast, and I use them on our meals because we have sweet ones, we have fruity ones, we have spicy ones, we have garlicky ones, so they have every array. They're not cheap, but it just takes a couple of drops. And they do have different sizes. And people have told me that they even take this size in their purse to go to restaurants and such. And they go to, they fly with them because they're 4 ounce bottles. And they will also take them to work. So I will leave you guys with the lose and maintain plate. Like I said, you have to play with it. It took us a couple of weeks to find our plate. It took me a couple of weeks. I was kind of doing it. My husband was a little confused as to what I was doing, but I kept giving him different layouts and me. And then we figured out this was my lose, this was my maintain, this is actually his lose, and so for him to maintain, he actually, his plate is going to be a little bit different. But once you figure those out, you're golden, because in your head you'll know, oh, I gained 5 pounds on vacation or whatever, and then you just go back to your lose plate. If you guys have any specific questions, let me know. But look at that. Look at the plate. Look at how you balance your foods. Make sure you have all three things: starchy, non-starchy, and the beans and legumes, which are protein. And make sure you're watching on your plate how much saturated fat are you having. Even plant-based saturated fat, the ones that I just talked about. And then balance from there and play with it. You will see that week where you suddenly lose a pound, pound and a half. That's about normal. That's my normal. I am comfortable with losing pound, pound and a half. I'm not comfortable with losing more than that because I want it to be maintainable. I want to be able to have it be sustainable. So I don't want to lose 5 pounds and then have it gain back because I lost too much weight and my body is trying to regulate. So 1.5 pounds. So exercise does not necessarily mean that you're going to lose more because your body's going to want to build that muscle, and muscle weighs. So a lot of people don't realize that. So concentrate on your plate, still continue to be mobile and move. We do a lot of strength training, so we use weights more than actually, we do the cardio for the heart, but our main exercise is strength training, especially at our age, because we're building our bodies burned off the fat, and we want to make sure that the flab turns into muscle. And so we've been consistently, and we started at 2-pound weights. So don't feel bad if you're using cans at home. Use cans. Grab a couple cans or grab something that's 2 pounds and put one in each arm and do that. We bought 2-pound weights, and then we have 3-pound weights, and we have 5-pound weights. We have 7 and 8, and if we want to do more, we go to the gym. But we were very gradual about it. So do that, but don't think you have to. If you actually go to the gym and exercise like a fiend 5 to 7 days a week, that's the other thing. A lot of people say, well, I exercise 5 to 7 days. Well, your body is probably trying to build muscle, and you're exercising so much, you're not eating enough for that. So if you're hungry, you're not eating enough. If you're not satiated, you're not using enough nutrition. If you get hangry, you're not doing enough nutrition and you're not eating enough. So I always shock people because we ate 6 meals a day in the beginning: breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, dessert, snack and dessert. So we ate a lot, not necessarily giant quantities, but we ate satiating stuff. Even if it was a snack, it was a well-balanced snack that was satiating. Like, for example, my green muffins or hummus and some whole wheat bread, or hummus and some vegetables, or that would be like a snack, or a smoothie filled with flax meal, and it also had plant-based protein powder, or but the flax will fill you up, and I would put ginger and turmeric in there. So just to give you examples, now we will eat about 3 meals a day. We are so constantly satiated that I can't overeat, and I cannot pack in more even if I wanted to, and you're just satiated. I don't necessarily need the snacks in between anymore. If I do have a snack in between meals, I normally see that I either eat less for dinner or I just don't even want dinner because I'm so satiated. So if you're doing the right balancing of all of it, that's where you'll get to. Bye guys, I'll look real quick to see if you have questions, but if not, drop them in the bottom, and I hope this helps.